There are athletes who play a sport, and then there is one man who became the sport itself. Lionel Messi has played in 5 World Cups. Most players never get one. Some of the greatest who ever pulled on a pair of boots spent their whole careers chasing that trophy without ever getting close. Messi got 5 attempts. And through most of them, the weight of an entire country pressing down on him was heavy enough that you could see it just watching him walk out onto the pitch. Head down, silent, carrying something no one could see but everyone around him felt. From the second he showed up this time, something was different. Not because of what he still wanted to win, because of what the people around him had already accepted. This was it, the last one. The figures tell one version of what happened. Argentina match tickets reached prices nobody had witnessed before at a World Cup played on American ground. The resale market for their group games was sitting at the same level as quarter-final seats for every other country in the draw. 40 countries' worth of broadcasters built dedicated coverage around the fact that he was there. Shirt sales for his number ran so far ahead of every other player that the people making them came out publicly and said they had never seen anything like it across the previous 4 tournaments put together. Every sponsorship deal with a clause tied to Argentina advancing paid out at each stage they came through. Add every income stream with his name attached to it, and the financial weight of one man at one tournament crossed into billions. Before a single ball had moved. But none of that is actually the story. The story was inside the stadiums. People were at this World Cup who had spent 3 years putting money aside just to be sitting in that building for one game involving him. One game, nothing else brought them there. Men who had first watched him play when they were teenagers were in those seats with their own kids beside them, trying to find the words to explain to an 8-year-old why the person on that pitch carried so much meaning. There are no real words for it. You end up just pointing and saying, "Look at him. Watch the way he moves. Watch what happens the moment the ball finds his feet." Because there will not be another one. There never has been another one. And when this is done, there will not be one again. What was different about 2026 had nothing to do with Messi himself. He was still him. Same low center of gravity, same first touch that makes the ball look sewn to his boot, still able to produce moments that cause 70,000 people to stop breathing at the same instant. What shifted was the atmosphere that followed him into every ground he set foot in. It was not the buzz of watching someone special do something great. It was quieter than that, heavier. It was that specific feeling you get when you are watching something for the final time, and every part of you is trying to hold the moment still, because you already know that once it passes, no camera angle or replay package will ever get you back inside what it actually felt like to be present when it was real and happening in front of you. That feeling was in every stadium he entered this tournament. In the training sessions before matches, in the walks out before kickoff, in those still few seconds when the broadcast found his face and stayed there because no one in the production truck wanted to cut away from whatever he was thinking. A World Cup is a different kind of pressure to anything else the sport produces. Players who have collected every trophy available at club level have arrived at World Cups and found they could not function the same way. The stage does not compare. The attention does not compare. Carrying a country is a different thing entirely to carrying a club, and that difference does not shrink no matter how long you have been preparing for it. Messi has carried that across 5 of these tournaments. 5 times he walked into that environment as the one player every opposing coaching staff designed their entire preparation around preventing from doing damage. 5 times he was the player that supporters in every corner of every stadium, including the ones there to cheer against him, quietly wanted to see do something that did not seem possible. Nobody else has had that. Not at this level, not across this many tournaments, not for this long. When this tournament closes, something walks out of football that is not walking back in. Not a number in a record book, not a trophy count, not a statistic. Something that does not have a clean name. The game carries on. Other players with genuine greatness will come through. Other tournaments will set records and produce the kind of moments that people are still talking about 30 years later. But the particular feeling of watching Lionel Messi play, That awareness that you are seeing something operating outside the edges of what football is normally capable of producing, that feeling now has an end date on it. Every person at this World Cup felt it land. In the packed stadiums, in the bars and viewing parties, in the front rooms of people who had never sat through a complete football match but found themselves there for 90 minutes anyway because something in them said this was not something to miss. This was not a football tournament. This was the final chapter of the longest story the sport has ever run. And regardless of where Argentina ended up when the last whistle went, the world turned up to be there for it. Because certain things only happen once. And everyone, including the people who had never given football a single thought before this, understood that they were looking at one of them.